Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're working on the 243 Winchester 70 grain Speer flat base hollow point bullet. Last time we landed on 41 grains. That was giving us a single digit standard deviation right around 35-50 feet per second. And today we're going to be testing out overall length starting from 2.708 overall and going backwards in 10,000ths increments off the lands. So I have 9 3-shot groups, and we're at about 95-ish yards here today. And I have to start on our 3rd charge just to make sure I'm on the paper, and we'll adjust from there. So let's get to it. Alright, I gotta go check out our impacts to make sure we're on the paper, and we'll continue from there. Stick with me. Alright, we made a couple adjustments, so we won't be able to track our point of impact shift between these next couple, but once we get to our 4th group, we should be good. So, we're gonna back up to our 1st and 2nd overall lengths here, and then we'll move on from there. Alright, on to our 2nd group here. And this is a 2.240 CBTO. Stop, caterpillar. Alright, looking pretty good so far. On to our 4th group here. And we've backed up to 2.220 CBTO. Alright, these are all looking pretty decent so far from what I can tell from way back here at 16 power. I'm going to do this 5th group here, and then we'll go take a look while we let our barrel cool down for halftime, and then we'll follow up with our next 4 groups after that. But for now, our 5th overall length, 2.21 CBTO. So our barrel's starting to warm up a little bit. Let's go check out our target, let this cool down. I gotta clean up some brush real quick, and we'll be back here in a few. Alrighty guys, up here at the target, we started with our 3rd overall length just so I knew I was on paper, and then we jumped up here to our 1st one. We made a couple adjustments over and up, and not too bad. I pulled this one, maybe. We got two pretty close and one farther outside there. Could have been me, could be the overall length, because we moved back here 10 thousandths shorter, and we're just stacking 3 in there. And again, these were our first shots here, just making sure we're on paper. So moving from 2 to 4, we've got 3 of them all right there touching. So that's pretty awesome right there. And then over to our 5th charge we just shot. Looks like we're starting to open up a little bit. This could be human error, or it could be our overall length. As you can tell, I'm on a rickety little pop-up table, so that could be inducing a lot of error here, but trying to do my part. Let's let the barrel cool down and we'll be back for 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay guys, back here with our 6th overall length we're going to be testing. And this is down to 2.200 CBTO. We're down on our 2nd target. All right, up to lucky number 7. All right, 2 more. We're on our 8th overall length here. We're at 2.18 CBTO. Okay, our final overall length, 2.17 CBTO. Let's do it. All right, very nice. Let's head on down, check out our target. All right, we're up here at the target. Here's our 6th group. Pretty close there, not bad, but if we move over to 7 there, that might be the best one of the day so far. Looking pretty good. Number 8, seems like a little bit of vertical stringing, but still 2 of them really close there. Any of this could be human error. And our final charge, again, 2 touching and 1 outside. I really don't know how much of this is me, how much of this is luck. You know, it's hard to tell. We've got 3 of them that are all very similar, and then a couple with 2 really close and 1 further out from there. But let's go ahead, we'll go inside, we'll measure these out and see where we're gonna go from here. Alrighty folks, we made it back inside and we're just gonna take a look, do some measurements and see where we wanna go from here. So I'm sure a lot of this could be human error, but I've never seen this drastic of effects from a simple seating depth test. So this is pretty cool to see what effect that actually has on our groupings here. So while we only have 3 shots for each group, we'll just run through them and see what happened. So once again, we had 41 grains, IMR 4064, moving 3350. That had a standard deviation of 9 feet per second, I believe, when we tested that. The total cartridge overall length, 2.708. That gave us a CBTO of 2.250, and that was the third loading on this brass. They are federal head stamps, and so we started with our first good load that we tested this with, and it actually grouped similar on our first test. So like I said, could be a lot of human error, but who knows. With our first CBTO, 2.250, 3 shots here at 100 yards. I'll try to measure center to center so we don't have to do any math and subtract our bullet diameters, but this is roughly 1.015, a little over an inch there. Not horrible, you know, that's MOA right there, you know, but 3 shots isn't a lot of data, and you know, I could have pulled that guy a little bit. Next, we went 10 thousandths deeper into the case to 2.240, and we've got these 3 all just hanging out right here. This is probably some of the best shooting I might have ever done. We've got a .3333333. That's pretty crazy right there. 0.33, somewhere in there. I definitely don't have the best paper to poke holes into, but that's pretty good shooting for me right there. This could be the best group I may have ever shot. So yeah, well, let's be conservative and call it a 0.4 in case I took out too much bullet diameter. But that's pretty good stuff for me, folks. Our third group is actually the one we started with because I had to check our zero. So our first group we shot was 2.230, and again, this is pretty good shooting for me. This is a 0.6, perhaps 0.550. That's pretty good right there. But if you remember, I was on that nice little rickety table. Pretty hard to bear down and not see a lot of variation just sitting there with my heart beating and leaning on the table and the wind blowing and all that stuff. So on to our fourth group here. We went further into the case to 2.220. We could have a new high score here. We'll just call that 0.4 again. We're looking at somewhere in the sub 0.4. So between these two, we'll have to do some more close measuring, but we'll call this a 0.4 as well for right now. Again, I'm impressed. I don't know if it's luck as much as this is human error. Are we, you know, am I getting lucky? Am I pulling stuff? I really have no idea. You can tell how confident I am in all this stuff too, right? All right, our fifth group here at 2.210 CBTO. From outside to outside, that's about a 0.9965. We'll take out a little bullet diameter there and maybe call this 0.8. Again, these aren't really scientific measurements, but we can obviously tell that a 0.8 is different than a 0.4. So, all right, our sixth group, 2.200 CBTO. Again, pretty good stuff, but not quite all touching like some of our others there. And it looks like we're roughly 0.5 or 0.6 there, sorry. Try to get center to center, 0.55. So I don't know if I'm just jumping over different nodes or what, but we've got 2 pretty much identical sizes here, and 2 pretty much identical sizes here, and 2 somewhat close sizes there. So we'll move up to our 7th test here, 2.190. And this guy's looking pretty good as well. Perhaps a new record with this one. There's 3 shots for outside to outside, about 0.48. And maybe come in here, we're at about 0.34, 0.35, somewhere in here. That's freaking good shooting for me, guys. That's wow. I wasn't sure that they were all like hitting the paper. I kept trying to see through the scope and they're all together. So this might be a new best here for the day, for me ever probably, 0.350. And between these two, they're looking pretty close there, I'll tell you what. So moving on to our 8th test here, we have 2.180. 2 of them pretty close with 1 a little further out. Outside to outside, that's roughly 0.9, 0.85-ish. and try to get center to center. Somewhere between 0.6, 0.65, somewhere in there. We'll call it a 650. And then lastly, we tried our shortest seating depth, 2.170 CBTO. And we went from some vertical stringing here to some horizontal stringing. And outside to outside on those, we're looking at right at 1 inch. And then if we try to get center to center, that'd be somewhere around 760, maybe 8. We'll call it an 800 for now because it's obviously not as good as our couple other good ones. It's kind of hard to show the ones that I want to show all together. So our 3 best ones of the day were groups number 2, 4, and 7. So I'm either getting really lucky here and unlucky otherwise, or there's human error involved otherwise, or these are actually somewhat decent seating depths for that bullet. However, I'm going in such large jumps, it's really hard to tell if there's any kind of node that we're jumping over. So I don't know what the heck to do from here. This one's obviously a really good group. That one's obviously really good. And for me, at least, this is good for me. I'm sure some of you guys, do this all day with your AR offhand at 700 yards. That's pretty cool if you can do that. But for me, this is pretty neat. And this is just with 3 times fired Federal head stamps with as small shoulder bump as we can achieve to still properly fit in the gun. So hopefully they're totally fire formed out to my chamber by now. Maybe not, but we'll try to keep doing that. So I'm in the rambling phase here. I don't know what the heck to do. Maybe load up 10 of each of these and see what happens, right? Do another test. Keep testing further. What would you guys do? Would you pick one and do maybe 2 or 3 thousandths jump above and below it and then see where it falls apart? Would we just call one of these good? I mean, how much better can we get? Like this number's starting to get as small as the price of the gun. That's freaking ridiculous. So I don't know what more we can ask for, really. Pretty dang good stuff. I'm pretty excited about it, man. I don't even know what to say. There's no more questions to ask. We're just going to go to the next powder, right? Where would you go for overall length? What powder do you want to see next? I'm probably going to try some Vitavori N135 or perhaps some IMR 8208 XBR. Anyways, thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate your time. Head on over to dummyroundreloading.com to check out the links and deals and all that fun stuff. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.